So today in this video, I'll be showing you guys this truck right here behind me. Now, what's cool about this truck is it actually looks pretty similar to my truck. So if you just take a look right there, pretty similar. Now, this is actually a good friend of mine. His name's Gerald. He was kind enough to let me look into this truck and kind of show you guys around it. So today in this video, I'll be doing like a walkthrough, kind of showing you guys around it, what's been done to it, what upgrades, what parts this truck has. So if you're watching this and you're curious, maybe you want to do something like this to your truck, you might get some ideas from this video. So let's do it. So the first thing I want to point out will be the wheels. Now, as far as tires, these are the BFG KO2 all-terrain tires. What's really good about these tires is that you can get a lot of miles out of them. I've seen people get like 80,000 miles out of these tires, which is just crazy. But these are actually a 35 by 12.5 R17 with the load range E. So compared to other 35s from other brands, these are actually pretty light. So they do drive a little better, they do handle better. I've heard in the rain, they may not perform as well, but all around they're a decent tire. So I would definitely recommend them. But now as far as these wheels, these are the SSW off-road Apex wheels. These are 17 by 9 with a -25 offset. So these used to be called Summit, but they recently rebranded it and changed it. Now they're called SSW off-road. But these do have a machine silver finish, which I think just look clean, and it doesn't look like, it's not too common in my opinion. Like, you don't really see machine silver as much as you do chrome. So I think it definitely stands out. It looks good. And these wheels currently, the way they're sitting, they do have a 1.25 inch spacer. So these wheels and tires already are a little aggressive and they do stick out. But this truck has some wheel spacers to give it more poke. So that's a 1.25 inch spacer front and rear, as you can tell. Now, actually, a good reason to have spacers, and this is an issue that I faced on my truck, a good reason you might want to have spacers is because a lot of times, if you don't, you might have your tire rub against your control arm. So that's never a good thing. That's not something you want to deal with. So it's definitely better if you can have wheel spacers. They will help you avoid from rubbing on your control arms, but you may rub on other parts of the truck, which it is what it is. You know, when you're going with 35s, there's going to be trade-offs. There's going to be, you know, things you're going to have to cut and trim off here and there. So, you know, either way, it looks good. I think it definitely ties in well together. Now, moving on to suspension. These are the JBA upper control arms. So these are pretty similar to the ones I have on my truck. They have the same ball joint. The only difference is mine are the HDs and these are like the regular ones. The only difference is this part right here is a little thicker. That's really it. So if you're off-roading, I guess they might be a little more durable, but I mean, for most people, I think this is a better option because it has the same ball joint, and you know, for the price difference, I'm not sure it's worth to pay more for the HDs. I mean, you get good quality with either one, so can't go wrong. These are definitely a good option. Now, as far as suspension, this truck has the Dobinsons IMS suspension lift. So currently, as it's sitting, it's currently 3 inches taller up front than factory. So you can tell it sits a little higher. Definitely has a nice look. And I just love how the red goes together. It just looks good. Now, as far as the lower control arms, these are actually the original lower control arms, but these right here are skid plates. So the same way you can get a skid plate for your truck, like right here, you can also get a skid plate for your lower control arms to prevent them from getting damaged if you're ever going off-roading. So these are actually the Running for Tacos lower control arm skid plates. I think they look good. I think they give it a nice look, especially if you're looking like from underneath. And I like how they match well with this TRD skid plate. So this is actually the OEM TRD skid plate. I think it looks good. I think it matches well with the wheels. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. Now, as far as the rear suspension, these are also Dobinsons, so it's all the same brand, which I think is really cool. So these are the Dobinsons shocks. These are set to a 2-inch lift in the rear, as well as the Dobinsons add-a-leaf. So this truck, as it sits, is 2 inches taller than factory. Now, obviously, when you're running 35s on a Tacoma, especially with a 2 or 3 inch lift kit, you're gonna need to do a little bit of trimming. So this truck does have a cab mount chop. Now, if you guys are familiar with Tacomas, if you're familiar with Toyotas and kind of like modifying them, you might have heard of getting a cab mount chop. So this could be with Tundras, 4Runners, as well as Tacomas. So I'm talking about this right here. So if you're not familiar, Tacomas from factory, the frame comes up to like right here, like maybe a little bit like that. But because these tires are a little bigger, they do rub like right here real bad. So my buddy had this done to him to be able to clear bigger tires. Now, as far as window tint, this is 30% on the windshield and 5% all around. I think it looks good. These are the Morimoto taillights. Now, moving on to the headlights, these are the Morimoto headlights, and honestly, I think they look really good. I like the amber. They match well with the other lights on this truck, and this kind of reminds me of a Bugatti Chiron. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like the way these projectors stack up next to each other, they're kind of like similar to a Bugatti, which I think looks really cool. But now, as far as these fog lights, these are the diode dynamics amber fog lights. And for the ditch lights, these are also the diode dynamics amber ditch lights, which I think they look really good. I think they really go well together, especially with the Raptor lights. I also love this grill. So this is actually the Tacoma Trd Pro grill. And so it's not the original one. It's a grill from a Trd Pro. So it definitely gives it a nice, more aggressive look. Now, as for performance, this truck does have a kdmaxx tune, which definitely drives better, feels quicker than factory. And as for the exhaust, this is actually the Black Widow Race Venom muffler. So it definitely gives it a nice sound. It sounds a little more aggressive and not like too loud. I think it's just right in my opinion. Hell yeah, it's pretty good, bro. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Comment below if you prefer 2nd gen or 3rd gen. I think you can't really go wrong with either generation. They both have their pros and cons. So that'll be it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Y'all stay blessed.